Well, thank you guys so much for joining me this evening, and I will kind of blitz through these questions because I know that we want to get to the movie soon. But if you don't mind, a question for each of you to start. Kelly, I've read that you have multiple family members who've experienced breast cancer. I was hoping, would you mind sharing about how your family's experience informed your approach to or your understanding of your character?
My aunt on my father's side passed away from breast cancer. My grandmother on my mother's side had breast cancer. And when I was 8 years old, my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer at the age of 38. And it was the first time that I realized my mother's mortality. And so, my mom is here tonight, you guys. It's all good. She's 83 years old.
For both of you, I'm curious about how did the two of you work to develop the relationship between your characters? Because it's so unique. On the one hand, you're mother-daughter. But on the other hand, you are strangers thrown together under the most extraordinary of circumstances. So how did you find that balance?
So we all know who Kelly Who is. So the first day I walked in, I was like, I know who you are. I know who you are. I've been watching all of her movies. She's been an inspiration for me. But Kelly is really silly and funny. and like right away, she kind of grabs you in and makes you part of her family. She's very nurturing. And so it came really natural to us. And we also have a lot of things in common. We both love plants. We made jam together. Animals, squirrels, everything. We have a lot in common.
Camping together.
Yeah, we do.
We have yet to do it.
So I think like a lot of it just came really naturally, but also because we both believe in this project so much. You know what I mean? And I think that really brought us together.
Yeah. And also, Roxy did not want us to meet until our very first day of work, where...
Roxy, your director.
Our director, Roxy, exactly. Our amazing director, Roxy.
Yeah.
She wanted our first day, when I come knocking on the door, to be the first time we actually meet. It had that sort of awkwardness and whatnot built into that moment because of that.
I'm curious, because there is that adoptive element involved, was there any research or preparation that either of you guys did to sort of understand the mindset of what that's like to be in the position of a woman who has to give up her child and a woman who finds her mother suddenly after all these years?
Yeah, there was some crazy research, and not just in the world of breast cancer, but in everything that happens before this character even gets this diagnosis, everything that makes up who she is. There's so much to unpack with this character. It was so hard, and yet there was so much to get to where she was that it was draining on some days. I felt so sorry for Brenda every day.
Yeah, I also did a lot of research. I watched a lot of YouTube videos just to get, you know, into the mindset, and also to see how people felt and the diversity of experiences that people had. So that was really great, and I think it solidified in my mind the importance of diversity in general, because that content is out there. Some of the creators are out there right now. I don't know where you are, but thank you. So it's just a wonderful resource for people to share their experiences, because we can learn so much from them.
Yeah, I loved that balance where these characters were very specifically, you know, Chinese or like transracial adopted, but also that the film wasn't about Chinese culture. It was about an entirely different experience that they were having.
It really was just, you know, a movie about people experiencing these, you know, going through cancer and adoption and reuniting, and is more human than anything.
Yeah. You know, we've mentioned Roxy, your director, many times, and this film is part of Lifetime's broader focus initiative, which is a commitment to hire women in key production roles. What was it like for both of you guys to be on a set with so many women on the crew, and also Asian women on the crew?
I mean, it was awesome, because like Lunar New Year, everyone wore red. We had different spirit days, like Mermaid and Pirate Day. It was just so fun, and especially shooting this during the pandemic. We were in a little safety bubble where we could play and we could create, and it was just an incredible experience.
Yeah, I have to say, I've done over 100 projects by now, and this cast and crew was the best that I had ever worked with. I'm not exaggerating. Everyone was so committed. I mean, also, you know, you have to think about it. We were shooting in the middle of the pandemic. You know, this was February, and everyone was so respectful of the situation of COVID, but we still managed to get close and, you know, be very supportive of one another. It was just the best possible mix that we could have had.
And so finally, you know, this film is part of Lifetime's ongoing commitment, like Kenya was saying, to promote women's health and specifically to promote awareness about breast cancer screening and research. In both of your careers, can you talk about what kind of impacts storytelling can have on audience, on the public's attitudes or the actual public behaviors towards these real-life issues?
I think I've been really lucky to be a part of a lot of projects that have done just that. And I can't tell you how many people have come up to me or have expressed online, oh my gosh, that happened to me and I thought I was the only one, or I felt exactly that way, but I didn't know how to say it, but I felt it when I saw it in the movie. So I feel like, I think that's the importance of diversity. So you can reflect on our own humanity in a more diverse way, right? And so I just feel very, very fortunate to be part of these stories.
And I feel like as people in media who make films, or you know, even people, journalists, you know, in the news, we really have a responsibility to tell accurate stories of Asian Americans, Pacific Islanders, because so much of America has never even met an Asian person or had any kind of real relationship with an Asian person in their life, and the only thing that they ever get to see is what's on television. So if, you know, all you see are nerds, or, you know, doctors, or weak guys to pick on, or, you know, women to fantasize about, that's all you're going to think Asian people are. And so it's important for us to get these stories out and humanize people of all races so that people can have that experience even if they don't have it in real life.
Yeah. Well said. And finally, I already got to see the film, so let's not give spoilers. But, you know, if there is one sort of takeaway message that you'd like, that each of you would like, you know, the viewers to come away with after having seen the film, thinking about there's a lot of themes, there's a lot of ideas, and a lot of different topics that the film addresses. What would it be?
You think faster than me.
I think the film reflects the dichotomy of life. How you can be so incredibly happy and at the same time so incredibly sad, because that's just life. And if you can learn to embrace both and accept both, I think you can live such a fulfilling, rich life. It's not easy to embrace the sad parts. It's not easy to embrace the boring parts. I struggle with that constantly, but that's kind of also what makes the good parts so lovely, right? So definitely shooting this film, I went through that, and when I watch it, I kind of feel the same way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I really feel like this is about building relationships. Even though, you know, she is my daughter, it's like she's a stranger, right? So it's building this relationship from scratch and realizing your mortality. When I think for those of us, well, for everyone, when they realize their mortality and they are at their end of life, I think what happens is you end up looking back at the relationships that you've built in life, because it doesn't matter what you have, you can't take any of that with you. You have to look back and see how you've affected the world, how you've treated people, and what you've done to make the world better through the relationships that you've had.
I hope you guys take both of those messages to heart. Thank you guys so much for sharing that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, guys. We're going to roll the film soon, so I hope you enjoy.